All right. Got a little ahead of myself. Thank y'all again so much for joining us. I love seeing some faces in person and then seeing all your faces on Zoom as well. So this is Adulting 101 College Pantry Cooking. I am Megan Woodward, and I'm with the Center for Student Engagement. And we also have Chef Tyler White here with the UT Culinary Institute and Retail Hospitality Tourism Management. And I'll let Tyler introduce himself in just a second. But before we do that, I do want to let y'all know about some events that are coming up in the Center for Student Engagement. We still have a full slate of things the next few weeks while we're ending at this semester. So what's happening in CSE? Next week, we have a music trivia event. So if y'all are familiar with Singo at all, which is music bingo, we are doing a version of that. It's going to be on Wednesday, March 31st, right in the ballroom. So right across the hall for those of you who are here in the room. We will have a ton of prizes, which I'm super excited about. We have some Amazon gift cards, Amazon Echoes, and some really cool things. So come check that out if y'all are looking for something. This event is totally in person. So if you don't have anything going on, feel free to check it out. And then our next Adulting 101 session will be in 2 weeks from today. We are partnering with lots of different people to host Dress for Success. So we will have NRFSA, which is one of the student groups out of Retail Hospitality and Tourism Management, working with Smokey's Closet and Career Development to bring out some different outfits from Smokey's Closet, do some mixing and matching, and just really talking through what it means to dress for success and whatever that may look like. And for those of you who may be grad students, this is during Graduate and Professional Student Week and part of that program as well. That will be in person as well as online. And then another event that I'm really excited about, and Tyler probably is too, we are hosting Grilled Cheese Day on National Grilled Cheese Day in a few weeks on Monday, April 12th. And so Tyler is going to do some amazing grilled cheese cooking. And so we'll be handing out free grilled cheese sandwiches in a couple of weeks. So feel free to mark your calendars for that. All of this information will be shared very widely very soon. We're just waiting on a few updates and confirmations. All right, I'm going to go ahead and turn the floor over to Chef Tyler White and let him introduce himself.
All right, welcome everybody. My name is Chef Tyler White. I'm housed within the Department of Retail, Hospitality, and Tourism Management. We have a culinary institute over on Neelan Drive across from kind of the sorority houses. We're building a creamery there. We just did our first luncheon series today, where we fed 27 people, and our class had to kind of plan the menu and serve to everybody. But I'm an alumni of UT. I got my master's degree in 2010. I've worked in restaurants and teaching at UT over the past 20 years. So I've been around the block a little bit. Currently, I teach a number of classes here at UT. We have a culinary art and kind of food science 101 class that we teach. I have a baking class. We just got finished making cheesecakes this week. We made cream puffs the week before, and then macarons. We have an advanced culinary techniques class that we're going to do next spring that's going to show you how to break down chicken and skin fish and do homemade pasta and all these things from scratch. And then we have our advanced food and service management, and that's the class that we had today, where it's kind of a working restaurant where we plan menus and serve the public and do all that at our facility.
So let's get cooking. Tyler was very gracious in partnering with us for this event, and we actually filmed a video with the Daily Beacon last week that we are going to show. But before we do that, I know Tyler wanted to walk through a few things as far as equipment and things that you all will need to do these recipes.
So a couple of the things, we tried to take everybody's individual case into consideration with the recipe we're doing. So I did the recipe with Instant Pot. We also will talk about the recipe on how to do it on the stove and all these different variations. So whether you're in the dorm room or you're in an apartment or somewhere else, you should be able to make the recipe we're going to do, see how to turn the recipe into multiple other dishes, and kind of expand how you guys cook in general. So we don't need much equipment. If you have an Instant Pot, all you need is a knife, a cutting board, and an Instant Pot, and you're ready to go. If you don't have an Instant Pot, all you need is a pot that has a lid, a cooktop, whether it's an induction burner or your stove, a knife and cutting board, and you can do it. We tried to plan everything with things that you would get from the pantry with minimal prep, something you can kind of set and forget, and maybe come back from classes and have something to eat later on. So the recipe that we're going to make, or that you're going to watch and then you're going to go home and make, we're going to make black beans. Sounds simple, sounds very basic, but there's so many things we can do with black beans that I wanted to start off with something somewhat basic, show you how to build flavor into a very basic dish. The things we can get from the food pantry are very basic, and they're really good. This recipe is going to be high in protein and fiber, and then we can supplement it with things that we like. So I chose to do 1 pound of dried black beans, 2 cans of Rotel tomatoes, and you guys could use any tomatoes you have at home. The video will kind of talk about why we use different tomatoes with it. 1 can of whole kernel corn, 1 quart or 32 ounces of chicken broth, and fajita seasoning. You can do whatever fajita, you don't have to do fajita seasoning. You could do taco or chili or whatever you want, just some type of flavor to put in there. Other seasonings, this is where your cutting board comes in. Fresh cilantro, lime juice, things like that are going to build flavor in this dish. We're going to add acidity. We're going to add spice, right? Spice isn't one of the 5 things we can taste, but it's a reaction that kind of happens within our mouth. So we're going to make that real quick. Then the video should go into talking about some other opportunities you have. So what do we do with the black beans? You're not probably going to make black beans and just sit there and eat it. So how to build it in and make a burrito where you can cut in some chicken, pork or beef, something else that you may have left over from another night's meal. How to do some tostadas, rice and beans with sausage, and huevos rancheros. So the way we planned this was maybe you eat the black beans one day, the next day you're going to puree the black beans and you can do something else. And it's a way to keep those black beans for multiple meals and kind of have something different all the time. The little photo on there is a picture of what a huevos rancheros could look like. It's up to you to make it your own. We did this in our 101 class the other day where we learned how to fry eggs, and we did huevos rancheros with homemade chorizo and things like that. So if you guys are looking for other hands-on cooking, look up the classes that Retail Hospitality and Tourism has. I know in the fall we got at least 3 hands-on culinary-based classes that'll help you guys do this.
Awesome. So bear with us. This should have been made live about 11 minutes ago. So hopefully the link will work and we will get started. I know Tyler and I kind of chatted before this. If y'all do have questions as the video is playing, feel free for those of y'all who are in the room, if you want to raise your hand, or if you want to write something down and send it up to me, or those of you who are on Zoom, if you want to just throw your questions in the chat, we will definitely make sure to get to those. This will not take the entire time for the rest of the time, so we will leave plenty of time for questions.
I'm here to show you guys how to make black beans and all the different things we can do with it. All of the ingredients we got today came from Big One Pantry, with the exception of some of the proteins and dairy items that you have to supplement in your house. So we're going to start with black beans, and then what conventional way of cooking it. We're going to talk about cooking black beans on the stove. Before we start working with our black beans, we have 1 pound dry black beans. I've sorted and rinsed them already. The reason we do that is we're looking for little clumps of clay, little lumps, anything that may have gone in there with the beans. during packaging, during harvesting. So we rinse them. Now we have two options on how to rehydrate the beans. So option one is taking our beans, placing them in a large container, covering them with water, and using water on top of those beans. Enough so that when they're rehydrating, they don't run out of water. As we come in, we'll see these beans double to triple in size. So if we use some bean, it's going to be 2 to 3 times the size of the dry bean. In order to rehydrate, this takes 6 to 8 hours, and it's best done overnight. Make sure you guys are using cool water. Put it up to the side. You're going to cook your beans the next day. You'll drain your water. You can start cooking them. If you don't have 6 to 8 hours, you can do the quick soak method. The quick soak method requires putting the beans in to boil, allow them to boil for 2 to 5 minutes, turn it off, put the lid on it, and to the side for an hour. Both of these methods will help in rehydrating the beans, which will cut down on cooking time. So, beans, we're going to drain them. Large saucepan that we're going to cook our beans. The beans are not going to grow much more in volume from this state. Now we're going to start breaking them down, making them soft. So we're going to put beans to really is not used for anything else. We can discard the water. It's not something that we go to cook the beans in. We're going to add some different flavoring items. We're going to add some wholesale corn. We're going to add some more pepper. I'm using original Rotel. You could use the sour Rotel. You could use the spicy Rotel, the low sodium Rotel. You could just use tomatoes. We're adding tomatoes for a specific reason. Tomatoes add acid, which is going to help break these beans down a little bit quicker. It's going to add flavor when we're cooking them. So we're talking about flavor building, flavor profiling. I'm adding something sweet, I'm adding something acidic with our tomatoes and peppers. Something simple, using a fajita seasoning. You can use your own seasoning blend that you like at home for tacos, fajitas, chili. These are nice to buy. They run somewhere between 50 cents and $1. And when I use this, I don't have to buy the 5 or 6 different spices that go into making this. So it's affordable to be able to get. We're going to add 1 packet of favorite seasoning mix. And we're going to add chicken stock. You can use stock. You can use you can use whatever sort you have. If you want to keep these vegetarian, you want. Okay. For 1 can of refrigerated beans, we're going to add about 6 cups of our stock. Okay. On our clock, we're going to turn it on. We're going to allow these to simmer for anywhere from a half to 2 hours or until the beans are tender. The only way to tell they're tender is to have a spoon, stick it in, and eat it. If you notice that there's a lot of liquid in here, remove the lid, allow them to simmer without the lid on. That's going to allow the stock to evaporate and will result in a black bean that's not going to over too much liquid in. If you have even less time than doing the quick soak method or the overnight method, I'm now going to show you how to do an instant pot method that can be done in about an hour. So when we have that little time, we want to set it and forget it and make dinner very quickly or lunch or these beans. The instant pot is a really easy way to be able to make beans in a really quick period of time. You can use another form of pressure cooker if you want. When you cook under the pressure, it's going to severely reduce the amount of time you have to cook these beans. We're going to use the same recipe we use for our conventional way of doing it. I have no kind of rinsed and sorted black beans. We're going to go ahead and put those in dry. No soaking. dried beans that we sorted, I'm going to two cans of we've got all those liquid in here, and no plastic, all of it in the color, all the liquid in the tomatoes. I'm going to add my fajita seasoning. For this recipe though, because I'm cooking under pressure and all that steam is going to stay inside, I can add less salt. Or chicken hash or whatever to this. We're going to have our lid. That's locking it in place. 30 minutes. Here's the cook for 30 minutes on normal. And we're going to allow it to sit for another 30 minutes on low pressure. So the machine is turning on. Once it switches and it builds pressure and builds heat, you're going to start to need a countdown timer that'll go on. We're going to let it count down. It'll by it, and it'll start counting up. So you learn to count down 30 minutes and count up 30 minutes. If you walk away, you go to the store, you do something, it's fine. You can sit longer than 30 minutes, like counting. When you come to the store, you're ready to go. So we're back. It's been an hour. The beans are done. The time is counted up to 30 minutes. We're going to release the pressure so that we can open this up. Very important to release the pressure. It's going to hold the lid together if we don't release it. So be careful. Don't put your hands there. Let it release, and then we can go ahead and remove our lid. As we bring it up, we're going to see our beans are cooking. They're still simmering, which is good. We're ready to go. Now, we have added very little seasoning to our beans up until this point. Okay, we added up the heat of seasoning. We added our rotel that has some different flavoring to it. In order to make it your own, you guys need to start tasting it and figure out where you want to take it from here. Okay, make sure we're boiling on it. A lot of times when we're cooking beans, there's a bitter flavor that comes out and then feels like a flavor. Different ways you can counteract bitterness. One way to counteract bitterness, like Mary Poppins, a spoonful of sugar on some medicine going on. You can sweeten the beans. I'm not a fan of sweet beans, so I'm not going to add sugar to my beans. The other way we can counteract bitterness is with acid. And we see acid being used on bitter greens. So when you have salad, you have a very strong vinegar dressing that goes on, and that's the bitterness in most greens. So this is kind of a Mexican feel bean of Southwest. I'm going to use one of them to help cut down on some of the bitterness. You guys can squeeze your hand. You can use lime juice that you get at the grocery store. Doesn't matter. Squeeze in fresh lime juice. One of the things to keep in mind when we're cooking, we can always add in the lime, you can't take it away. Okay, so I'm going to add the juice of one whole lime. Then I can taste it, and if it's still not what I want, I can add more. It's better to fix something that I've made too sour than it is to try to add as I go. Acidity is using a hot sauce. You could use a this is mostly vinegar. One time say cayenne pepper or something like that too, the flavoring agent, or we can add hot sauce. Because we're using original rotel, it's not very spicy. Maybe a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and be a little easier, and I'm going to add more. You can only got more later along with it as well. Okay, and then doing a good stir. You'll see that this recipe still has a lot of liquid in it. It's not so much that it's a soup, but it's still enough that if you were serving these right away, you may want to use a small spoon to serve it. So, we all taste completely differently. When using fresh herbs, we want to add that heat to the cooking process in order to bring out the flavor. If we added this at the start, it'd be long in the pressure cooking and that with it. So I'm going to add some cilantro. And this is going to we're going to pick up the front part. Okay, now we have some of the bitterness is going to stay at the back, and we're going to have some of the sour that kind of linger throughout. One of the things we have not added up until this point is a lot of salt. We don't want to add much to the salt because it can prohibit the beans from getting tender. Salt is a minimum. Now, what I do is salt. I can never get rid of it inside this pot of beans. It's better to salt at the very end. Salt does not take time to develop flavor. As soon as we add it, it's instant salt. I'm using some kosher salt. This is going to be one of those ones that I can add more, but I can't take it away. All the details of adding potato does not work. The only way to combat salt is to add fat. Fat is a flavor inhibitor and can help reduce the effects of reduce the amount of sodium in there. If we increase the volume by adding more chicken stock or adding something else, I can reduce the potency of that salt in there. The taster, the only way to know if they're good is to keep tasting. I taste a little bit of heat from my you can get chicken this here does not say low sodium, so it did have sodium in it when you're cooking it. Pay attention to your body, add salt at the end. That's the way you like them. So, beans. We can serve these as a side. I'm now going to show you 3 or 4 different recipes. We can do with these black beans. We'll go from there. First dish that we're going to make with our black beans is a sauteed black bean and smoked sausage and rice dish. We're going ahead and cook all of it. Our plate ready to go. This is kind of a play on dirty rice. Dirty rice a lot of times is where we're cooking ground beef, beans, and rice all in one pan. You can just plain rice. You can use plain rice, wherever your favorite rice is. We have our fully cooked beans that have our corn and tomatoes and everything in it. I'm using a beef smoked sausage or salsa. Onions. If you heat the pan up with a little bit of oil, I'm using just a vegetable oil. Sausage, 4 peppers and onions. That's going to be the dish. This is a nice dish to make because we're adding protein with our sausage. We have protein and fiber in our beans and corn. So we have a nice meal here that we can stretch and use for multiple days if we need to. And make sure we're putting something into a hot pan. The best way to test it is to put one in there. If it's not sizzling, wait to add the rest. So we have a little sizzle. We're going to wait a little bit longer before we add everything. Since meat, we're going to add meat first. Then and peppers. If we do it in reverse, it's really hard to get good color and sausage with the onions and scallion in the pan ahead of time. You're not going to put these in cut side down, but it will help with the browning. You can just dump the sausage in there, stay on the side. This is a half pound of sausage, and I'm using about 2 to 3 cups of our black bean mixture. Okay? You can use ground beef here. You can use chicken. You can use whatever you want as the protein. You can also just leave it with black beans. And saute it with vegetables. Some grilled zucchini and squash. There's onions, some tomatoes, whatever you guys want. When we flip the sausage, we're starting to see some browning happen. This is good. We can flip them on. Feel free to use tongs or spoon, whatever you like. Let's give them a nice spot. It's going to be safe to go ahead and start adding our peppers and onions. So I'm using some red onion, green bell pepper. The ratios are not important. Okay, what's important is that you're adding what you like. If you want to add in some chopped garlic and other flavors, you're more than welcome to. If you don't like peppers and onions, don't add peppers and onions. We can go from sausage and beans. Okay. use your spoon unless you're comfortable, and then you can work on sauteing and flipping the items. So we can get these airborne, we're tossing them around, we're putting them back on the heat to make sure our pan does not cool down. All of this smoke and steam that you see is brown paper coming in, and coming from the peppers and the onions and the sausage that we have in here. We want to continue to cook this until the peppers and onions start to become tender. The onions will start to turn a little bit clear. They call it translucent. Red onions don't get quite as translucent as yellow onions. But we should be able to see visually these peppers and onions. They've been cooking for about 3 to 5 minutes. It's time to go into our beans. Okay. As we're adding our beans, we can see the corn still maintained its shape, but our tomatoes have started to break down, which is okay. Give it a nice top. These beans can be saved in the refrigerator for up to 7 days, and they're perfectly to pull out. You may have noticed on this batch that I did refrigerate the beans are going to absorb any of that extra stuff that's there and make them a little bit thicker. And that's why these ones are a little bit thicker. We already cooled them down. The onion in here, bring this up to a good boil. Anytime we're reheating something, whether it's beans, whether it's chicken, we want to make sure it reaches at least 165 degrees. When you're working with soups and stews and things that we're cooking today, as long as we see lots of bubbles and explosions, we know we're over 165. As long as we're over 212. The bean dish is done. We can turn off the stove. This is going to be enough for 3 to 4 people. We're using 2 to 3 cups of beans. It's easy to stretch it out. We'll have our white rice here. We can come in. Put on fresh green peppers, tomato, sausage. We can add some of the orange. Okay. So this is our version of a quick and easy dish utilizing some sausage and our beans that we made. Next dish we're going to make something very, very simple. We're going to take flour tortillas and make bean burritos. This we can do without the instant pot, right after on the stove. It's quick and easy way. You can take all the leftovers you have them to make the burrito. We put on stove. And lettuce, or instead of arugula. This is going to have peppery flavor again. Usually you guys have at home. Don't go to the store and buy things that are unnecessary. It's your burrito. Make it the way you like it. We have some sour cream. I have some peppers on the tomato. Again, so we're going long, but really well with the beans. So we're going to keep things like that. With a little bit of sour cream. Sour cream has a lot of carbs in it, and it's going to help the burrito from getting really soft. That has beans and things like that. The beans you have to penetrate the sour cream and doesn't have any chance of getting the soft tortilla. So I have to put that down first. Cheese first. Then my beans, cheese not. Then we put cheese on, and that's the mouth. So we want to make cheese first. Make sure we're paying attention to the size on here. Whether you use an 8, 10, or 12-inch tortilla, you want about 2 finger gap on either side so we can make sure that we can fold it later. So we're going to add beans now because it'll help melt the cheese. Cheese very little. This is about half a cup of beans. Potatoes are making them too big. They're not meant to be that big with this small tortilla. Cheese. This could be rotisserie chicken from a previous night's meal. This could be whatever chicken you want. It could be pork, it could be ground beef. Again, if you keep it vegetarian, not anything. I have some shredded chicken on there. want to add some tomatoes. Onion. You can tell, it's not even the other. What different textures, different flavors. The same thing with my cheese, right? So if I put this on one and it's one of those cold veggies, I don't have to worry so much about what it can go to these on there. We get out the online if we want. We're going to all sides up. We're going to grab the back end. Sides up. Okay, now putting that side here. And then we turn off. And then a nice tight burrito. Now, if you refrigerate for tortillas, microwave them gently in the microwave 10 to 20 seconds to soften them up. And the tortilla is going to allow a whole lot better than it's from tortilla. If your tortillas are a little bit low and a little bit stale, microwave them, sprinkle a little water, pop in the microwave, freshen them back up. Good to go. You can toss it with whatever seasoning you have, melted cheese, anything you have at home, or you can pick it up and it's good to go from here. So it's like a pretty easy burrito. Next thing we can do is with the beans. If we're trying to stretch our beans all week, we've got to be creative with what we do. So we made a some bean dish. We use our cooked beans to make a burrito. Now we want something different. Beans, and I use an immersion blender. Some people call it a stick blender, where we stick it in and we can puree it. You can use a blender puree for beans and turn it into a refried bean or bean paste, whatever you want to try. So we're going to work on now is making a tostada. Basically an open base. You can make anything you put in so you just go for a tostada. We're going to start with our beans. Beans on the bottom. This is good to find something over. Easy to make, easy to put out. Again, with our beans, we put some cheese on the top. We use a pepper jack cheese. We're going to add a little bit of spice. So we're going to add some diced onions. Some pepper. Maybe some thinly sliced radish. We had some different ready to go. Nice big appetizer. We could have added some chicken to it. We could have beef. We could have tomato. You guys out of that, we can add here to make a nice open face taco. We're going to make with our beans is going to be beans for breakfast. And most Americans don't consider beans for breakfast. But if you move into Europe, you see lots of beans for breakfast over there. Even if we move down south into South America, beans for breakfast. So we're going to take tostada to the next level. And we're going to do breakfast by making a little ranchero dish. Okay? So similar concept. This now is into our fried you can fried already, or you can have yourself up to you. The pre-cooked one, easier than turning my fryer on for two little tortillas. Plate. We got cheese again. We're going to so I did a lazy egg, which means my yolks are still running. And eat this, the fat that's in the yolks is going to black bean and all of our other things. So we're going to add the fried eggs. You on how you want your eggs to be on here, but in order for it to be chorizo, pair perfectly with this dish as well. In this dish, I like to use a salsa picante, which is a warm salsa. You can go to the grocery store, you can go to the pantry, find any salsa you can throw out. You throw some, you get it nice and warm. We want to just again, trying to have acid, salsa picante, has cumin in it. It has a little cumin. It's going to be just a salsa on top of our. Okay, so you can throw a little bit of onion if you want. Give some sugar would be really nice. With a little bit. Take a little orange on the plate. Squeeze it open. Well, I think I'm pretty. This is your adventure. Make it the way you like it. Really cheap, really acceptable. We're adding more protein. You can make a very easy way of a French barrel dish. Those are all the dishes that we prepared for you guys today. They're easy. Most of the items you'll find in your pantry and Big Orange Pantry. Look forward to cooking you guys in the future.
Special shout out to the Daily Beacon for filming that for us last week. Right. And one question that I had for Tyler when we were doing this was, how do you use canned black beans? Because I know that's fairly common if you don't want to do the dried bean variety. So Tyler, how do you use canned black beans and
So at home, I usually use canned black beans as well because it's just way easier, and the cooking time is way less on it. So if you wanted to do the same recipe using canned black beans, I would swap about 3 cans of black beans for the 1 pound of dry. I decrease the stock to maybe only 1 or 1.5 cups or 8 to 12 ounces because when you use the canned black beans, you're going to get liquid in there as well. And that's going to make up for it. And we don't need the chicken stock to rehydrate or really cook the beans because the beans are already cooked. Cook time is going to be reduced 20 to only 20 or 30 minutes. Again, all we're trying to do at that point is blend the flavors together, bring it to a boil, reduce it down a little bit. So it's a much faster way to use canned black beans. It's much more economical to use dry black beans. A bag of dry black beans, if you buy them at the grocery store, is about $1.25, and a can of black bean is somewhere in the 89 cent to $1.49. So you get a lot more beans for your dollar if you use the dry black beans. So it's up to you guys. We only showed you 3 or 4 things you could do with these black beans in this recipe. I used a lot of the same ingredients to show you don't have to go buy new ingredients for everything. Avocado would have been really good on a lot of those dishes. We could have made some different cremas and things like that. But the purpose of this is to show you guys how to build flavor because a lot of those items are fairly plain. So we added fresh lime juice with acidity. We're adding fresh cilantro that's going to add different flavor notes. We added hot sauce, all kinds of things that you guys can use to not only increase the flavor of your bean recipe, but anything you're doing. It's important to know if you have something that's bitter, add acid or add something sweet. If you have something that's salty, add more liquid. Something that's sour, we add more sweetness. If something's too sweet, we add more sour. So we can easily counteract different flavors just by adding 1 or 2 little ingredients to your dish.
And then I know we have partnered with Big Orange Pantry for this, but I know Tyler has another really great opportunity coming up in the fall that he's going to chat about.
Okay. So the Culinary Institute is making a change to be more sustainable and more economical. And we're partnering with Big Orange Pantry and Vol Dining and a lot of other companies around town to where we're going to be preparing meals and distributing them through Big Orange Pantry that are going to be meals that are ready to eat and ready to heat. If you went to Big Orange Pantry yesterday or today, you might have saw we had banana muffins there. We had cheddar broccoli soup. We had a cream of asparagus soup, things like that. Our goal is to be able to supply the pantry with ready-made meals that students will be able to go to and pick up for free, take back to their dorm rooms or apartments, just like they would any of the other pantry items. So we're hoping to do that in the fall, where we almost have everything up and running, to where we can do collection and distribution.
And then we are at our time almost, but wanted to open up the floor. I know there are 5 wonderful humans here with us in person, as well as some folks still online. So if y'all do have any questions, feel free to ask those now, especially while Tyler's on the line. I know he went through things very thoroughly, but there's always room for questions.
I also tend to talk very quickly.
And it's okay if you don't have questions too. Like I mentioned when we first started, this has been recorded, so I will definitely make sure to share this out to all of you. Yes, we've got a question in the room. Yeah, great question. So we have someone in the audience in the room that asked, if you're not taking culinary classes through what you're doing, Tyler, are there ways to still be involved with Culinary Institute and help with food recovery and some of the things that you're doing with the pantry this upcoming fall?
Yeah, so our first step is to integrate everything into the academic classroom. And then we are going to be hosting volunteer opportunities. It'll probably be on Fridays and some Tuesdays and Thursdays. We don't have the date set yet, but there are definitely going to be opportunities for faculty, staff, and students to come over there and get involved. We've had some talks with UT Athletics, and a lot of the athletic students are interested in being able to come over. We see this as an opportunity for students to be able to complete some of their community service hours that they have to do for Hope and Tennessee Promise. So yes, we will have lots of opportunities for people to come and help. Probably not so much with the recovery. Our recovery strategy involves hiring an individual who's going to drive a refrigerated truck around campus, picking up things, and we're going to do it very systematically, where we're doing times and temperatures and things like that. So it'll be more of the hands-on in the kitchen that we need help with, and we're going to handle a lot of the recovery with that vehicle and that employee.
Good question. Interesting. Anyone else have any questions for Tyler or anything about the programs that we talked about today? Good deal. Well, we hope that y'all enjoyed this presentation. Tyler and I have been partnering for several events this semester, and still have that grilled cheese event coming up on April 12th. So definitely put that in your calendars and check that out. I know we're really excited to produce all these grilled cheese sandwiches to give away and celebrate National Grilled Cheese Day.
And it's really good cheese. It's not just American cheese. It's like jalapeno Havarti, Grand Cru, which is an aged Swiss and stuff. So they're going to be fancy grilled cheeses.
Can't beat that. Comfort food, fancy grilled cheese. Well, thank y'all again. As I mentioned, we have recorded this. We will send out all of this information to you, as well as the students who registered for the Big Orange Pantry packs too. So thanks again, and I hope you have a great rest of your evening.